On this week's episode of the Modern Dealer Podcast, we're going to talk about used cars. Automotive News just released their top 100 used car retailers for 2020. We're going to talk about Express Cash Offer, how you can buy cars directly from your consumers. All that and more on this week's episode of the Modern Dealer Podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the Modern Dealer Podcast. My name is David Farmer with Entice, and today we are going to be talking all about used cars. Really one of my very most favorite topics. But before we get going, let's go ahead and just take a moment, take a nice sip of my nice hot coffee that I got going on here. Another favorite of mine, a nice dark roast from my Keurig for dark roast Starbucks coffee. All right, so a lot of good stuff going on. I know a lot of our dealers that we do business with have just been coming off of a record month after a record month after a record month. Just a lot of cars being sold, whether that is chalked up to the stimulus, whether it's chalked up to everybody wanting to get out and experience the world after a crazy 2020. Regardless of what the issue is, a lot of people are selling a lot of cars, but we have some things happening right now in automotive that we really need to be paying attention to. And unless you've been hiding under a rock this last few months, you know exactly what I'm talking about. New car inventory is going to be getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Talking to a lot of my dealers, if they just sell 100% of their objective over the next couple months, by the time summer comes around, June, July, they're going to be out of cars. So what that means is we need to gear up our used car inventory for used cars. We need to be able to offset the demand for new cars with the used car inventory. But because of these record months that we've been having over the last few months, used car prices are absolutely insane. I know that you know what I'm talking about already. A lot of vehicles are going through the auction right now at MSRP or higher, especially when you get into trucks and four-wheel drives, big SUVs. Absolutely incredible. So, as a dealer, what are you going to do? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is what you can do to make sure that you have a different avenue to engage with customers, to buy cars directly from them, and create a new channel, a new funnel to bring customers into your dealership that you might not have had an opportunity before. So this happens to coincide at a very good time right now, and that is with the top 100 used car retailers being released from Automotive News. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you real quick. So let's go ahead and just go through some notable differences over this last year. And this is 2020 versus 2019. It's going to be very exciting to see what's going to be happening in 2021 as this plays out. But today, let's look at 2020 results. So number one position by far is CarMax. 832,000 retail units sold. Huge piece of the pie is CarMax. And I say it's a big piece of the pie. We know that that's still a very small percentage of all used cars that are being sold in the United States. So there's huge opportunity. And that's why we see so much activity for these online retailers to try to come into this space, whether it's Carvana or Vroom or Shift or other online retailers. But let's look at CarMax real quick. So 832,640 retail units. That is up almost 100,000 units from 2019, which was 748,961 retail. 2020 used vehicle revenue is this is marked at 17,170, but that is in millions. So you can do the math on that. That's up from 15,173 from 2019. So not only did they have a large increase in overall retail units, but their retail used vehicle revenue, retail revenue also grew just as much. Another thing that's very interesting is looking at wholesale units, 446,000 versus 447,000. So wholesale units actually went down. So now what does that tell me? I think there's a couple things interesting in this space. I think that they are looking at being able to retail new and different types of vehicles, maybe going a little bit older, going a little bit more miles in the vehicles that they're keeping for retail. So that is definitely something that they are looking at doing. And I think also this could look at as well, where are they buying their cars, and to be able to wholesale vehicles, right? And one area that they do extremely well, as you know, is buying cars directly from consumers. And now somebody else over the last few years has been gaining a lot of momentum in that exact same space. And that is with Carvana. So now they've moved to the number 2 position. That's moving up 2 positions from where they were in 2019. They were ranked number 4. Now they are ranked number 2. So there's still a huge discrepancy, huge gap between the number 1 position and the number 2 position, going from 832,000 retail units to 244,000 retail units. So CarMax being almost 4 times as many as the number 2 position, or another way to look at it, they equal the next 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, almost all the next 4 spots, 2 through 5. So anyways, 244,111 retail units for Carvana in 2020. That's up from 177,549 from the previous year. Used retail revenue from 3421. So what is that? 3,421,000,000, up to 4.7 billion in 2020. So substantial increase in overall units and overall revenue. But let's also look at their wholesale transition, right? 2019 wholesale units, 39,895, going up to 55,110. So they did have about a 15,000 increase in wholesale units. I think they also are looking at holding and selling more retail units. This reminds me of my retail days back in the mid-90s, early 2000s. I was at a Toyota store in the Tampa market, and we did a really good job of selling a wide range of used cars. We used to call them C cars, and this is back from AutoNation days, where we had the A cars, the B cars, the C cars, and the F cars. C cars being older, higher mileage vehicles, but in that area that did extremely well for us, and I highly recommend all dealers consider looking at these C cars. And we could take just a minute to talk about how to grade these vehicles. So the A cars we looked at basically as irreplaceable, highly desirable used vehicle inventory cars. This is going to be maybe cars that are a little bit older with really low mileage, meaning that you can't just go back to the auction, hold up your arm and buy another one. Maybe it's something that's a newer vehicle that's just not a whole bunch of them out in the marketplace right now. Customers are not trading them in yet. That would make it an A car. So basically an irreplaceable vehicle, and those A cars are ones that you want to step up on. Those are the ones that you can't, I mean, you really can't pay enough for those cars because you know as soon as you bring them in stock, you're going to be able to sell them. You're going to be able to sell them very quickly. You're going to be able to sell them at a very good profit. B cars are going to be your core product and replaceable cars, meaning they're 3 or 4 year old vehicles, Toyota Camrys, Corollas, Civics, Accords, pickup trucks that might be easy to find, rental car type of vehicles, replaceable, easy to find, but still core product. Vehicles that you want to have in inventory, but you have to be cautious about what you're paying those vehicles for. C cars are going to be the older, higher mileage vehicle, but still retail vehicles, cars that you can sell. So looking at your vehicle inventory from an A car, B car, C car mix is a very good way of identifying the vehicles that you have currently in stock, how you're selling cars as well. D cars or F cars are wholesale only cars, cars that aren't something that you're going to retail. Maybe some dealers would consider a C car, an F car, or D car, meaning that they want to wholesale it. But now moving into the summer of 2021, C cars is, I think, an opportunity for you to be able to stock inventory that's going to make sense for you. A great way to look at this is being able to go through your current inventory and grading them A, B, C. And then going into your historical sales, maybe go back 90 to 120, 180 days and go through the exercise of grading each one of the vehicles or figuring out a grading system, A car, B car, C car, and find out what your mix was in sales, and then find out what that might be. Maybe your 30% C car, 35% B car, and 35% A car, although you're probably not going to be 35% A car because you just can't find that many irreplaceable cars. So maybe 10% is going to be A car, 65% B car, and et cetera for C car. So your retail sales, how are they being graded? And then look at your used car inventory today. How is your mix set up for those? Now, I know there's a lot of computer technologies out there. If you're utilizing one of them, like vAuto, of course, you have the availability to manage your mix that way. But maybe something you can think about in a new and different way to look at your inventory versus your previous sales. But anyways, let's get back to looking at the top 100 used vehicle sales, used vehicle retailers. All right, so no mystery here. The number 3 position is AutoNation, but interestingly enough, number 2 from 2019, they actually slipped all the way to number 4, and that's Penske. They dropped from 284,000 units to 233,000 units. So that's about a 20% drop from 2019 to 2020. They dropped in overall used vehicle revenue from 7.2 billion to 6.4 billion, and they had a huge drop in wholesale units, again 115,000 to 89,000. So last year the number 3 position is the current 3 position this year in 2020. That's AutoNation. Let's look at them. They actually also had a drop in overall retail units, 246,113 to 241,182. a drop from 5.160 to 5.261, overall drop there. They had an increase in wholesale units, 61,382,000 to 62,319. A little bit of a drop. All right, so that is the number 3 position, AutoNation. Penske, we just talked about in the number 4 position. Then let's look if there's any other notable people to look at here. Lithia, 170,000 to 183, so they actually had an increase. They kept their position in number 5. Number 6, same as last year, but they also had a drop, so 162,000 to 159,000. So you can really start to see that the big winner here, which was Carvana and CarMax, they're taking business away from the new car retailers. And I'm sure we're also going to see something else that's going to be interesting here as well. We had a drop in Group 1. I mean, definitely got a trend going on here, 158,000 to 140,000. That's about a 10% drop in used vehicle sales. 99 to 94, Hendrick Automotive Group, they had about a 5% drop. 88,000 for Asbury, down to 80,000, about a 10% drop. Larry H. Miller, 54,000 units down to 50,000 units, about a 5% drop. Ken Garf, they had a drop as well. Very minor drop, though, only a couple hundred units. And now let's look at some winners, right? So our local guys here, the Morgan Auto Group, Florida-based company, most of their dealerships in Florida. They've had a nice increase, almost a 50% increase. So congratulations to the Morgan Auto Group, 33,000 units to 45,000. About a 12,000 vehicle increase in used vehicle sales. Napleton Automotive Group, they had about an 8,000 or what is that, 10, 12% increase. Napleton Automotive Group in 13. Let's just look at some of these guys here. So let's look at the Morgan Auto Group. They went from 14 in 2019 to 12, so they moved up 2 spots. Napleton, 13 to 13, they stayed the same. Now we have another good mover here. Vroom, of course, we're expected to see them moving up. 31,963 units to 41,873 units. That's Vroom. They went from position 16 up 2 positions to number 14. The McClarty Automotive Group, they're up 8,000 units from 30,000 to 38,000. Jim Coons, they're up from position 22 to 16, a big mover there. 27,000 units to 35,000. Greenway Automotive Group, they're from position 15 to 17, so they dropped a couple positions, and they dropped about 1,000 retail units. Who else of note here to talk about? So that's the top. That's the top 10, 15. That's some good information there. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. So that is the Automotive News Top 100 Used Car Retailers, and that is the first segment of the Modern Dealer Podcast. Got 19 minutes, 4 seconds on the Modern Dealer Podcast clock. I'm going to take another quick break, wet my whistle a little bit here. My favorite. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is really, we have 1 or 2 very favorite things to talk about on the Modern Dealer Podcast. And number 1, we are looking at digital retailing and how customers are engaging with digital as they make their vehicle purchase, digital retailing technologies, national online retailers, and the online buying experiences, or even like Tesla and looking at their online buying experience. Now, if you've been a fan of the Modern Dealer podcast and you've been tuning in, you'll know that I've been sharing my personal story of purchase or selling my my personal vehicle to Carvana as I was going through and creating a video. I took my personal vehicle, shopped it against Carvana, Vroom, AutoNation, CarMax, instant cash offer to really go through the experience that customers were having when they're looking at selling their vehicle. So what does that feel like? How easy is it? How simple is it? What's the variance of the values customers are getting for these types of instant evaluations, and how it differs from site to site to site. As I was going through that process, my personal vehicle, I mean, this is going back but about 6 weeks ago, I found out that my vehicle, I was getting basically a retail value from Carvana. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to document that process, which I'll share a link in this in the show notes of this video, going back and linking back to that experience so you can see me actually going through it. But so I ended up selling my vehicle to them, and then I replaced it with a Tesla. Also, wanting to go through a true online buying experience. One of the reasons why I chose a Tesla. Also, I am an electric vehicle fan. My vehicle before the Audi was a Cadillac ELR, which is an electric gas hybrid type of vehicle. Anyways, long story short, purchased a vehicle from Tesla. Really cool experience as I went through it. Very simple. The delivery experience was really cool. It was a touchless experience. I've not yet created a video for that experience. However, I did create another video outside of the Modern Dealer podcast, which I'll also link up down there. You can kind of see a little bit of that process. But since it was touchless, there really wasn't much of a delivery experience. In the dealership, it was basically just going there, picking up the car. Pretty cool. I'll share that with you if you're interested in the show notes below. So again, going back to some of the most popular topics that we have here on the Modern Dealer podcast: digital retailing, online retailing, and used car evaluation. And that's kind of our next topic that we're going to talk about here on the Modern Dealer podcast, is being able to provide an express cash offer to customers when they visit either your dealership website, or looking at different ways to be able to create a buying center. Now, if I remember correctly, back in about episode 25, 26 of the Modern Dealer podcast, we talked about creating a buy center, a used vehicle buy center. Now, I still think this is an absolutely fantastic idea. Whether you create a buy center in your dealership and staff it with people that are just looking at buying vehicles, or you actually go out and rent a new space and create it as a separate business unit, I think there's opportunity here for anybody that is looking at buying vehicles to stock their used car inventory at your dealership. So you can create your dealership name buy center, or that you buy cars, different ways to do that. I think it's a great way to be able to compete with Carvana, be able to compete with Shift, Vroom. So those are 3 online only retailers. Carvana does have some physical locations that's giving them more credibility in some local markets. But to create some, a level of comfort, if you're a dealership that's been in your local market for decades, you have a lot of built up investment in the community. And if you're out there letting customers know that you buy cars in kind of a new and different way, I think many customers will shop you at the same time that they would shop companies like Carvana or CarMax or Vroom. And if you are competitive and if you provide a seamless experience because of the reputation that you have in the marketplace, I think many of these customers that are currently selling to the disruptors like Carvana or CarMax or Vroom or Shift, they will do business with you, which I think is much better and healthier for the new vehicle franchise industry with the amount of employees that you employ in your local marketplace. So many great things of why customers should be selling vehicles to you, but you need to be out there letting customers know that they can do it. Now, if you compare your online buying experience on your dealership website to Carvana or CarMax or Vroom or all these other online retailers, you have to go through that experience yourself or watch the video and you ask yourself, is my online experience good? Is it really providing a real value to a customer, or is it just giving a range, or is it giving a lowball offer because you're trying to take that customer vehicle in trade? A lot of tools in the marketplace right now are really designed for a bygone era. So 5 years ago, it was a completely different time in the market, in the used vehicle market. Today is a different time. A year ago compared to today is a different time. 2 months ago compared to today is a different time. It's a bygone era. So what are you going to do in today's new era to compete with Carvana, CarMax, these other companies that are selling 250,000 used vehicles per month like Carvana is, 800,000 like CarMax is? What can you do in your local marketplace to buy more cars from consumers? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So as you know, it's not something that I keep secret, that Entice is my company. We supply technology to automotive dealers. We have created a whole suite of technologies, from being able to help you get customers off your website and in your showroom with our Visa Test Drive offer solution, Lead Maker. We have a full digital retailing technology that allows customers buy cars on your dealership website, whether you're going to deliver that to them or have them picking the vehicle up in a delivery experience at your dealership's showroom with our Shopper Express technology. And we supply a free credit score tool or get pre-qualified technology, providing a unique customer engagement on your dealership website that really provides this tier 1 type of experience on your dealership's website. We're very excited to be able to share with you an evolution of our Trade Value Express technology. If you're one of our dealers or you are familiar with our technologies, back in 2014, we came out with Trade Value Express. We called it Trade Maker, recently rebranded it to Trade Value Express with Express Cash Offer. We talked about this a year ago on the Modern Dealer podcast, and Trade Value Express allowed a customer to get a book value instantly and request an Express Cash Offer. That gave the customer the ability to request an Express Cash Offer by uploading 6 images. Inside the tool, we would create a notification that would go to your used vehicle management team, and then you could, right from the email, reply back to the customer with a Express Cash Offer. Now, because of the inherent busyness of used vehicle managers, it's not a tool that many dealers can actually execute on to be able to put a real number on a vehicle as a customer requests it online. So we've evolved this tool. Instead of Trade Value Express with Express Cash Offer, now we have an Express Cash Offer technology that is going to automate the process and allow you at the dealership level to identify how you want to be able to price these vehicles for customers in an express cash offer scenario. So allowing the technology to be able to provide a real offer to a vehicle in real time and provide that Carvana type experience right either on your dealership's website or on a companion website that could be provided, like a landing page or a microsite. We call it a companion site that provides this mobile first experience for customers that would engage in any of our iSuite technologies. So Express Cash Offer, what I'm going to do is actually let me pull up this, and I'm going to share this with you guys here. Watch my time. I'm 30 minutes in. So I've been keeping the Modern Dealer podcast to about 30 minutes over the last few episodes. This one's going to go a little bit longer, but I'm going to try to keep it to another maybe 15 minutes. So 45 minutes on the clock. Give me about 15 minutes. So what you're looking at right here is Wahoo Car. So this is one of our beta websites that we've designed, and this gives us the ability to experiment in new and different ways with our solution. So this is like a demo website. It's something that's private on our side to allow us to create these technologies. But I'm going to be able to use this to share with you a way on how you can use Express Cash Offer to engage and buy cars directly from customers, giving you the ability to provide the Carvana, CarMax, Vroom, AutoNation type experience on your website or on our companion website. And as we start to look at, well, wouldn't we want to look at how we can mimic the big players in the used car space right now, whether that's CarMax or Carvana? Number one and number two, over 1 million vehicles between the two. You can see right here, where are their calls to action? Financing on your terms, you go to their homepage, easily customize your down payment and monthly payment, get pre-qualified. So that's what they're using for their main call to action, is a way to be able to get the customer into getting pre-qualified. So we can do the same thing with our Credit Score Express technology, getting the customer into a position to be able to convert into a lead and get their real credit score so they can customize a down payment and monthly payment through our Shopper Express technology. So we can supply any used vehicle dealer or new vehicle dealer with these types of technologies and tools so you can provide them to your customers and compete with companies like Carvana and CarMax. Now, in addition to the get pre-qualified is that strong primary call to action right there on the homepage. They also have sell/trade as their secondary call to action. Get a real offer in 2 minutes, and we'll pick up the car. You get paid on the spot. A customer can look up their vehicle by plate or by VIN and get their real offer in just a matter of a couple minutes. So wouldn't it be cool if you had the ability to do that and be competitive? Well, today I'm telling you, you can do that. Look at Carvana, CarMax, you could do it the same thing. Their primary call to action is their 24-hour test drive with a 30-day return up to 1,500 miles. Find your car or search. That's their primary CTA, getting the customers to be able to search for a vehicle. Secondarily, we have the sell trade. Get a real offer really fast. You can get an online offer in just minutes. You can do it by license plate or by VIN. Enter the VIN and a zip code to get started, and then you can get an express or you can get that real offer really fast, right? Get your offer, make an appointment, get paid. Very cool. But you can kind of see that we have a theme going on here, right? We can also schedule an appointment at the dealership to do the inspection to get get that real offer real fast. AutoNation. That's Automotive News. Sorry. Let's go look at Vroom. So Vroom, homepage, get a cash offer for your car. So their primary call to action is to buy cars from customers, and they can do the same way, license plate or VIN, or if you want to search, you can search. So their secondary call to action is searching for inventory. Their primary call to action is to be able to buy a car from a customer. Shift. Smart way to buy a used car. Shop cars, that's their primary call to action. Shop cars. Secondary call to action, sell or trade. So go back to your dealership website right now, go to your homepage. What is your primary call to action? If you're like most websites, it's going to be a mess, right? You can have a slider with 800 different calls to action sliding across your front page of your website. I say it's a mess because it's antiquated technology. The way that car dealers, for the most part, are advertising on their website right now hasn't changed in the last 5 to 10 years. You go back and look at your website 5 years ago versus today, it's going to be basically the same, right? So you have to ask yourself, companies like Carvana and CarMax, what are they doing different today to allow them to sell 1 million cars between the two of them and move up on that list versus moving down? So here's AutoNation, America's largest and most recognized automotive retailer. Their primary call to action is searching for used cars. Their secondary call to action, sell my car, right? Same thing, 5 minutes, certified offer, cash today, license plate or VIN. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy one from us, offer good for 7 days or 500 miles. So all of this is very similar to each other, right? So if you wanted to get some inspiration from some automotive retailers that are successful, copy what they're doing. You know, I think it's something that's in design. People saying that that there's no new ideas. It's just kind of replicating old ideas or copying other people. The greatest form of flattery is copying. So why not copy what's working well, but tailor it for yourself? And that's what we're going to be talking about today with Wahoo Car. So imagine Wahoo Car being your brand. And then we can kind of position this as a unique selling proposition, or in this case, a unique buying proposition to be able to position this offer in front of customers. So Wahoo Car, express cash offer. Selling your car should be fast and easy. Say hello to Trade Value Express with Express Cash Offer. You can trade in your old car for a new one or sell it to us. Either way, we'll buy your car. So in this case, we're using a primary call to action as Express Cash Offer. And just like them, leveraging video, license plate, or VIN number to be able to get a Express Cash Offer. Get your offer, sell or trade, get paid, get started, call to action. So we're going to have multiple calls to action for this primary CTA, which is Express Cash Offer. So this is our Express Cash Offer landing page. Get your offer, sell or trade, get your check. We have customized videos for all the different OEMs, so we can customize this to your dealership. So that's going to be available to you. And then we start to tell the story. Express Cash Offer. We've designed a whole new way to sell your car, no matter the make, model, or miles. Just enter your VIN or your plate number, answer a few questions, and we'll instantly analyze your vehicle against massive amounts of data, including vehicle history reports, auction transactions, national sales and trends, and then use this analysis to provide you a personalized purchase offer in just seconds. So we literally can do this. Like I said, I promise you that I'll keep this video at 45 minutes. We got about 6 minutes. So what I'm going to do is let me just come in here. On this page as well, we also have inventory. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to grab a used vehicle VIN number. This is 2018. come back to my home page. And then from here, I'm going to jump into Express Cash Offer. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to get things wrapped up. So it defaults to a VIN. I'm going to put in my state, put in my mileage, 30,000 miles, get started. Okay, so now we're going to start moving. You can see that we already decoded this to a 2018 Camry 4-door SE. I'm going to put my name in here, my email address. Feel free to shoot me an email at this address if you're interested, david@entice.com. I'll even put my cell phone number, 727-514-2097. Shoot me a text. Take this next step. Now, one of the things that we do with Express Cash Offer, which is going to be different than what you find on Carvana or CarMax or AutoNation, and that is instead of asking 15 or 20 different questions to determine the condition of the vehicle, we're going to ask the customer, one, rate your vehicle. Is it 1-star? Is it 2-star? Is it 3-star? Is it 4-star? 4-star means it's basically like new. Never had any paint touch-ups and or body work. Does not need any reconditioning. The engine compartment is clean, free of any leaks, free of rust. I mean, that's the description. 3 stars, pretty awesome, right? Has had minor paint touch-up and or body work, requires minimal reconditioning. Engine compartment is clean and free of leaks. Free of rust, body and interior has minimal signs of wear or visible defects. All the tires match, blah, blah, blah. So we have those disclosures. The customer easily chooses what their condition is. They're going to let you know if they have a balance or not. You can see we already decoded it. And the magic of our VIN explosion allows us to tap into a huge amount of data that's going to go past typical VIN explosion, and it's going to bring in any hard ads. So the vehicle itself not only is going to decode to a year, make, model, and trim more often than it ever has before, but it's also going to bring in any of the hard ads that we can use to create this evaluation. And then not only are we going to look at the book value, but we're also going to look at the history of this vehicle. So this allows us to tap into the same type of databases and the exact same database that insurance companies will use for total lost vehicle valuation. We're going to look at vehicle ownership. Was it a rental car? How many vehicle owners? The title condition. Is it any title issues like rebuilt or flood? Is there been any major accidents? Has it been serviced regularly? All that information is going to go into this history adjusted vehicle valuation along with the customer rating to allow you, the dealer, to create a customized evaluation. Now, I can also, as a customer, I can upload individual vehicles, vehicle images. This is an optional feature of this version of Express Cash Offer. I can upload images of the front of my vehicle, the rear of my vehicle, the odometer. The goal with this is really to get the customer actively engaged into the process where, oops, wrong one, that passenger, no, that was right. Driver side, VIN number. Actively engage in the process. And this reminds me of when I was selling cars, when I was training car salespeople, working for the Cardone Group and Grant Cardone, and when I was being trained by the Cardone Group and the Grant Cardone, when I was selling cars back in the 90s, early 2000s, one of the things that we knew that we wanted to do was engage the customer in the evaluation of their vehicle. It's really the only personal number in the entire transaction. When you are looking at the negotiations of buying a new vehicle. So getting the customer emotionally involved in the evaluation of their vehicle gets them more vested into the purchase process. The more you can get invested into the purchase process, the more likely you are to be able to move into a delivery that day. So not only are we talking about used cars today in the Modern Dealer Podcast and evaluating from an ABC characterization or a categorization standpoint, but also I would highly recommend looking at your used vehicle trade-in evaluation process at your dealership. Are you doing it in step two, prior to selection demonstration, getting the customer involved in the process with the walk around, keeping it positive, not doing the old school, pointing out the bullshit on the vehicle, but keeping them on how much you really want the vehicle, how important it is for you to get used vehicles. This is the exact type of vehicle that we want in our inventory. Our used vehicle manager loves these types of vehicles. All the old, good Grant Cardone style word tracks work equally as well today, if not better today than they did 10 or 15 years ago. So a great time to evaluate your sales process. Make sure you have a trade in the second step, not after selection. A much quicker, better way to be able to do that. Anyways, that's why we're selecting images in our evaluation process so we can get the customer emotionally involved. And then bingo bango, there is our express cash offer. So this is a real offer for that vehicle based on a historically adjusted evaluation, and we do give the customer the ability to select the appointment schedule an appointment at the dealership to be able to go through that express cash offer process where a vehicle inspection is available. But you could see that we were able to provide that express cash offer for the customer's vehicle, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that evaluation, where we give you, the dealer, the ability to augment the historically adjusted value. So we're utilizing the ability to bring in a rough, average, or clean value that's going to be adjusted based on the individual vehicle's history. From that adjusted historical value, we give you the ability to customize it by going higher or lower with a multiplier. So we got the base value, then we got the historically adjusted value, and then we have a modifier. So for example, you might want to use 85 or 90% for that 1-star rating, 100%, 105, 110, depending on how aggressive you want to go in your marketplace. And you can change it at any point that you want. But this is what's going to give you the ability to be competitive in a highly competitive marketplace with companies like Carvana and CarMax. And if you don't think that you're losing deals to these companies, again, I think you might be hiding under a rock. This gives you the ability to compete with them with a tool that provides that same, if not better experience, if I don't say so myself. It really provides a better overall experience, giving the customer the ability to get an express cash offer immediately, right within a tool from a VIN number or a plate number, convert that customer into a lead. That lead goes into your CRM. We can notify your used vehicle management team. You can look at the photos. You can even call the customer, which is, of course, what we would highly recommend is you engage with the customer as soon as that lead comes in and invite that customer down to the dealership. Or if it's a vehicle that you want to buy, offer to go there and pick it up from them and offer more if you need to get that car. Keeping in mind that it's very difficult to stock your used vehicle inventory. The value of customer or vehicles going through the auction is absolutely insane right now. You cannot go wrong in buying vehicles directly from consumers. All right. What are we looking at on the Modern Dealer Podcast clock? 49 minutes. I lied. Is 4 minutes longer than I wanted to go today. Hey, I appreciate you and your time coming in and visiting with us at the Modern Dealer Podcast. Until next time, this is David with Entice. We're out of here.